Episode 11 of Flex X Cop pretty much picks up where 10 ended. And, you got to see the guy call Miss Lee to saying he wants to confess about the Orion community. And it also seems like this case has to do with the reasons why her father was suspended in the first place. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another review on the Review Garden. So, the guy who wanted to meet up with her ended up dying, with the thugs pushing him off the building. But they left a suicide note next to him saying that it was suicide. Then there's also another case that she was called for where the guy drowned. But the family of the guy say that there's no way he could have drowned because he was a professional swimmer. So, that's not the case. And on his body, they also found, which I'm guessing it's from the same community. So, this is the case that they will be exploring more of for episode 11. Also, the team 2 were the ones who got the call about the guy jumping down suicide, right? The team 1 got the call about the drowning. So when the team leader of team 2 got his phone, he saw that it was Miss Lee's number that was the last call. So he brings it up to their boss, right? So the boss calls her into the office and he's asking her what happened and so on. And then the captain walks in and everybody's quiet. He's asking, what's going on? What's happening, right? So they're like, someone, just committed suicide and her phone number was on it, so we're just asking her questions. And he's like, yeah, he's like, if this is about, blah blah blah, so and so, then put it to bed. And she's like, we never said that it was him, so how did you know about it already? And she's like, who's reporting to you? And she's like, don't even look at him, he's right here, so it couldn't have been him, so how did you know about it already, right? So he doesn't even like let her talk. He's just like, you're too close to this, you go crazy every time you hear about this thing, you're suspended for a week, I don't want to see you, you know I don't want to see you at all, and pretty much puts her away. And I'm like, this man had something to do with it. He had something to do with framing the father. And so I think he was the father's boss, because I think, I could be wrong, I might clear this up later, but I think he was the father's boss. The father was her direct boss. So the captain probably put him as the fall guy, for whatever happened in that community thing. So if I'm guessing correctly, it the place is, it calls itself a meditation center, but the sister of the victim, of the drowning victim, was like, it's really more of a false religion, so kind of like a cult. So it grabs young people under the pretense of being a meditation place, but in reality it's not. I also like the fact in this that, Team Two's leader, he started doing it last episode, but I like the fact that he's starting to change. And, he went up to the rooftop. She followed him, and he was like, "Look, they say you shouldn't be looking at this, okay? You really shouldn't be looking at this." And then he left the paperwork on the desk, I mean, on the chair, and then he went to go get coffee. And then she's going through the paperwork and taking pictures, and his team came up and he was calling them, to get coffee so that they wouldn't see her taking pictures. So I like the fact that he's turning around and, they're more, even though they're on different teams, they are starting to work together. Miss Lee is telling everyone, that she's going somewhere due to her suspension. But, I'm pretty sure she's going to go enroll herself in the quote meditation center, to try and go undercover with everything. I don't know, but part of me feels like her father maybe has an inkling of what's going on, but even her mom was like, "Doesn't she seem weird to you?" And then, the team leader of team two, he doesn't want to close the case just yet, even though the captain said to. And, I'm surprised his boss, which I'm guessing is the chief, he lets him, investigate further about what was going on, because I feel like even him, he kind of noticed how weird the captain was acting in the room in regards to the case. So I think he's like, "Okay, go ahead, get it right this time," you know? I really love how involved Isu is in the cases nowadays. I mean, he was always involved before, but now, you know, how even with Miss Lee not being there, the other guy is now allowing him, to get information about the case. He's involving him more. So Isu was able to decode the message in the suicide note left by the guy who was thrown over the building. And the way he deciphered it, the code was inside the message. I mean, you couldn't have figured it out, but he did. And he was really proud of himself. And I'm really proud of him too, because he is trying hard. And I think he likes this field that he's in. And instead of playing make believe, this time he's actually doing it for real. I don't know, but maybe it's just me. They're starting to show, the scene where they are at the Orion community. But Jinisu went there as a cop, like as a full on cop, you know, and but Miss Lee went there undercover. So maybe he should have been more undercover or quietly. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just like, because the boss called somebody and was like, Jinisu is here. Ooh. It's a little creepy to me that, the owner of that community knows so much about Isu. And when he was talking to him, he was talking about his mom, how his mom committed suicide and da da da. And, like he's not that much different from him. And he went into a little backstory of how he got there, and he wanted to commit suicide himself, but then he got into a car accident, and that everyone was saying that he wouldn't survive, but he survived. So I'm not really sure what his end game is, but it seems like a lot of people who went to his meditation center, a lot of them committed suicide on their own. So it's like, is he looking for people who are on the verge of committing suicide and he just pushes them over the edge? Because the person that Miss Lee shares a bunkmate to, she was detailing how, her father took money from loan sharks and died and left it for her and her mom to pay back those loans. And even though she tried, she just couldn't, right? Because it was too much for her to keep up. And she herself wanted to die. So I'm like, is he targeting people who are on the verge of committing, and he's just pushing them over the edge? The end of episode 11 pretty much revealed that the one who took the bribe was not her father, obviously, and was the captain. He was sitting with the owner of the meditation center, and he was talking about, he was revealing to the owner that, hey, this is the daughter of Mr. Lee, and that, he put her on probation, but he doesn't know where she is. And he gave her her picture. I mean, she came in with different hair, longer hair, and bangs, which, by the way, she looks good in that. And then, he also talked about Isu. So I'm guessing that's who he was talking with on the phone, the owner, when he was like, Isu's here. So the captain probably told him, a little bit about Isu so that he can creep him out a little bit. So yeah, so that was pretty much the end of episode 11. And you also got to see Jinisu meet up with Miss Lee in the guy's office. But I have to say, that girl, she's kind of suspicious, the one who's the team, who is the circle leader. And then she also went to check on she also went to check on Miss Lee's room to see if she was here. I don't know, she's kind of giving off this vibe. Yeah, my apologies for accusing that girl and being like she's sus. Maybe that's why she looks suspicious, because she's actually a reporter. And yeah, because in episode 11, when that reporter told his boss he was no longer doing the story about Isu's mother, he went back to his desk and he noticed that the girl was missing, and she didn't even, say that she was digging into the story. So I guess she went in and infiltrated the community as well. So now you have three people in there that technically, the only reason I'm just saying technically shouldn't be there, but they're just investigating. The way they framed the father was really, I mean, I'm diabolical is a little too much, but it's weird to me. So he was going to do a press conference on the case. And then the guy who died, the guy who they say committed suicide, um committed suicide by jumping off the building. He's the one who brought the box filled with cash to his house, right? So the woman, like his wife, opens the door and brings the package in. It was just addressed to the father. It didn't say who it came from. And so when she opened it, the doorbell rang, and that's when all these cops came in to kind of, oh, they have a warrant, blah blah blah, right? And then that's when they arrested him during the press conference. And that everything happened so quickly. So you can already tell that they were, framing him. So when he's in the interrogation room with the captain, the captain's questioning him, where's the cash from? It doesn't say who it's from. And he's like, I have a scenario of who it could be, and I will investigate who it will be. So he turns off the camera, and the other guy, who's the current chief, is watching this happen in the interrogation room, right? So he's like, the captain is like, how long are you gonna hold out? You need to turn in your resignation and basically take the blame for what happened. And he's like, you and your daughter work in the same thing. It's not gonna be good for her, especially if she's going to be looking for a promotion soon. And this man heard all of that. And then you mean to tell me that after you saw that her father was wrongly accused, right? You come over here and you are treating her badly. You were yelling at her, telling her, "Oh, this is why I don't like you." I'm sorry. You need to be demoted too. Like, you need to be in prison too, along with the captain, because you just sat there and let an innocent man, um, you know, be blamed for something he didn't do. And now the father, Miss Lee's father went to the chief's office asking him, like, hey, protect my daughter. And I'm like, that's the least you could do. You owe this man a lot. So a little bit of background on what he's doing. So the guy who owns the meditation center, the cult, he's going around and he's choosing people who have money and are close to death, and he's giving them this tea to drink, and then afterwards he goes to poison them. So when he has them, he's like telling them, hey, that's what he does to get money. The other people, he just kills them because he feels they wronged him in some way, right? But the people he kills is people with money so that he can take the money from them. So instead of leaving it to their next of kin, he's the one that gets the money, right? Um, so he 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 he's investigating more, trying to figure out who the girl is, because told him the captain told him that, hey, she might come here. So when he's looking at the new people who came, he noticed that the page was ripped, because the manager, the which is the newspaper girl, I mean the reporter girl, she said she t- she took Miss Lee's page out. But what she didn't realize is that the pages were numbered. So he noticed that there was a page missing. So page number 7 was missing, right? So he was like, go get the manager. So they like took her, pretty much put her to sleep, because he had her smell that thing. I forgot what it's called. But so with that, Miss Lee saw them take her. So she went to the guy's office. So they pretty much did that to drag her in, right? And then she called Isu to come help her fight. They got through the first set of guys, but then the owner's right hand man, I mean, this man, he's very strong and he knows how to fight. So he took both of them down. Um, and then when they woke up, they were in a different part of his office. And, Isu was telling him that, hey, I have a drone in the air. It's an invisible drone. And, the cops should be coming here soon because he left a note by his window. So that's exactly how he was able to get the fingerprints to his secretary. Because remember when the secretary brought in the fingerprints to the police station, and then they were like, how did you get this? And he was like, I can't tell you. So that's how, he was able to get a message out saying it's go time, right? So I guess that's going to help them find them. Um, Meanwhile, the guy's like, I have friends at the police station, so your friends are not coming. And then, they were on top of this thing. He pushes the button and they fall in water, which is the same way he killed that other guy. The other guy that they were like, he drowned, but he's really a professional swimmer. So he dropped them in this doom thing that is filled with water. And then there's more water being added in. But Miss Lee can't swim. And now Isu is trying to calm her down so that, she could properly use her breath until they're able to get out of there. I am really loving this episode because it is the first time that you are seeing everybody join forces, right? So you have team 1, team 2 together, and you have the reporter and his crew, coming together, bringing in needed evidence to go and rescue their teammate. And they called the father. Obviously, the father's gonna go there too. But I really like it that, in the beginning, everybody was like a little closed offish, mine, 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 or I gotta get the scoop. But here, it's nice that they all join together to put an end to this crime community, you know? So they managed to find Isu and Miss Lee, and they arrested the guy, the owner of the center. And pretty much everyone was rescued. No one, unnecessarily passed away here. So when the girl in autopsy was, you know, doing the autopsy for the guy who jumped off the building, who was thrown off the building, she found a disc. But what I'm saying is that, she literally took it out of liquid. Like, realistically, is that USB still going to work? I would understand, like, if he swallowed it and it was, like, in a bag. But realistically, are we saying this is going to still work? So she found it and she looked inside and she brought it to the chief. She told him that, I was going to take it to team number 1, but I figured I would come to you instead. And then she's like, I also made a copy just in case. So when the chief opens it and looks at the files, he notices that the captain was on one of the videos and he was taking, the bribe. And I'm assuming it was back when they were going to frame the father, right? So now, what is he going to do with it? Is he going to do the right thing or not? They arrested, so the chief decided to do the right thing and they came to arrest the captain. And he was like, don't even try it because we have all this evidence against you. Like, you don't even need to deny anything and make a fool of yourself. But my thing is, they need to publicly, clear her father because they publicly embarrassed him and put that stain on his name. So they need to do that. And on another note, you see, Park, Detective Park is growing a little closer to Isu, right? They went out for drinks, and even though it was awkward, it was still kind of cute awkward the way they were acting because he's been a jerk to him, but now he was like, I didn't like you at first. I found you annoying, and Isu's like, I still find you annoying, but he's like, thank you for helping her solve the case because honestly, without Isu and his money, they wouldn't have been able to do it. That drone, that invisible drone, did help, with everything. So I do like that they showed them. Hopefully now when they're solving the next case, they won't be fighting as much. So they did in fact, give the father his recognition. So, the major boss was like, should I resign my position because I had a corrupt cop who was taking bribes, and then I had him also frame another cop. So, like, because I didn't know all this was happening, should I release my position? And the chief was like, how about we put him as the senior superintendent? Because, even though we messed up, we're still trying to fix everything. I thought he was going to resign. I wouldn't be against him resigning, the chief. But anyway, so the father got a job back into the police station. And episode 12 pretty much ends with the start of a new case. There's a guy who's been stabbed or shot, and he enters someone's apartment, and someone's house, and someone's calling him. So I wonder who's calling him, and does this case have anything to do with any one of them, any one of the team? Dum dum dum. And this wraps up our journey on the Review Garden. Thank you for joining me today as we explored this drama. If you enjoyed this reaction and review, please remember to subscribe for more insightful videos. Don't forget to like this video and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your feedback helps our channel grow. As always, I'm truly grateful for your support and for joining me on this journey on the Review Garden. Until next time, and happy listening. Bye.